But I believe you've all been working on the job shaking a few trees. It started as a very typical job. The idea was that a number of people who said they would be either said they would be at the prince's party and didn't show, or people who never responded to the why didn't you, are being checked up on to find out where the fuck they've been at. However, it has kind of revealed that these individuals have either gone missing or been killed, supposedly by an individual or individuals who leave the call sign 7, or VII, on the wall written in vitae and ash. When trying to discover information about this group, they have undertaken a visit into the sewers after finding out that a sewer walker, the second of Jacques the Blind, the Botticelli, left them a little bit of a warning. The killers were here, step softly. They went right down there, said hi, learned some things, and then left. Not long after this, Gideon de la Riviere travelled to visit Elder Terina the Mortrophian, who supposedly had some ties to Esteban, the dead vampire, in that he had scared the shit out of one of Esteban's ghouls at a party. Terina had supposedly sent a messenger declining the invitation in the first place, but if that's the case, this message just never arrived. It was sent out with one of his aides, and they should be due to turn up the following day. Upon hearing this, and on learning that it's quite late in the night and the sun will soon rise, Gideon has taken, I was about to say taken leave of his senses, but taken the decision to climb into an asylum cell and go to sleep there. Which I'm sure is fine. The rest of you, I believe, went to your respective homes. Claire stopped by her sister's and then went on to her own place to sleep. Rose went home. DCL went home. I believe Timothy did as well, because there was some question of whether his shadow form stays shadowy when he goes to sleep. The answer being, no, he doesn't stay a shadow, he becomes solid.
Well, I think you convinced me to not try it, because I had to go to sleep in a moving car.
That's also a fair point.
We don't know yet. We probably never will.
The world may never know.
Well, the reality is, if you went to sleep as a shadow, you would be solid come morning because your body always resets. And so if, I don't know, Shadow Timothy happened to be in an impossible position and then his body reset, he might end up damaging himself in a quite severe fashion.
And you can spend willpower to not reset.
You can, but do you want to spend willpower just to go take a nap in still the same form?
Well, what if sleeping while you're a shadow just lets the Strix take over even more? Like, you're subconsciously more vulnerable.
We will have to see one day.
Like,
But
it turns
also
out that you
stop
don't get the chance to wake up because the Strix just takes over come the morning.
But also, Scalvia, spending willpower like that also changes your default. So I just beat then. Actually, this is a dreadful idea. I don't want to turn into a real Strix.
Yeah. Making your default form a shadow seems like the worst of those ideas you could have made. Solidity is fun and a shadow can't bite. I think you'd get less mileage out of it actually if you had to spend willpower every time you wanted to be not a shadow.
Solidity is fun.
It is, it lets you JO.
And we've also been over the fact that I can do the breath feeding things.
This is true, you can eat, you can feast on breath.
Anyway,
That's also
plans
less
for
fun.
my... This is true. The one time I did it, it was not as satisfying.
But it works. You know, DCL random mic noises.
Sorry.
It's okay. I'm just spitting out some gum. It tastes like chalk, which was nice when I had a stomachache, but now it's just... I'm very much sick of it. Ugh. Go big gum. But okay then. So, I don't know if there's a strict order to when you will wake up. Presumably the first to wake would be Gidgeon, but we're Ramless, so we will catch up with him in time. Instead, I believe Rose, considering you live with the fleshy, bloody, living, breathing kinds, you are likely woken up first amongst your companions.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it is a typical Rose morning. You've learned of some fresh nightmares out there in the darkness, but otherwise you've been blessedly safe and left to complete peace.
It is not a typical Rose morning.
Is it
It was a
not?
typical Rose night.
Touche.
The morning will probably leave something to be desired.
Okay. Then what
Have
happens?
you forgotten?
I probably have. It's been a while.
Okay.
Your vision.
Yeah, I was gonna try
There we
and...
go. That was
Yeah.
it. Right, let's have a look here at the notes that I have for your ibits. Where the fuck did I keep all your notes? Oh no. Okay then. Would you like to recap instead the details of your vision?
I've got it all down.
Good.
I have been waiting the past year for...
Shut up. For one of you who makes that joke is horrible and you know it.
Hey, I'm the one who posts that meme on Imgur. I get away with it. Yeah,
But yes, you spent time down in the tunnels of the Botticelli with the others, but there's something very certain about your experience, and it has brought upon you a change.
mm-hmm.
Now, change is not always a bad thing, mind you. But yes. Alright then. Rose, you wake up in the morning, and how do you react?
How do I react to suddenly being able to hear my blood bags in the other room
Mm-hmm.
and not being able to see so well?
Yeah.
Panic.
Alright. Do tell. Is it out loud panic? Do you shout? What's up here?
Yeah. I will shout.
Alright then. Yeah.
I'll grumble to myself at first. You don't have to be so loud. And then wait, where are you? And then I will try looking around. See that everything is blurry.
Yeah, there is a blur to the edges of your vision as though you were looking through everything. Like a Gaussian blur has been turned on by like a few pixels.
And yeah, I'll start to freak out. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck?
Yeah, Etienne rushes around the corner first. In fact, no, Emma would run around the corner first, and she's dressed in a kigurumi. She looks surprised, and then Etienne's like scrambling afterwards, and you can see that she's fetched herself a knife. What's up? What happened? Of course, to you, their voices sound like loud shouts of alarm, and you can pick up vaguely the ways that their heartbeats accelerate.
I can't tell. Is there some
You can hear the
Asian-
ruining of dogs as well.
Yeah. Well, I can't shut them all up.
No. Wow. Them doggos.
I will get out of bed, say, "Have you seen any Haitian voodoo guy with the top hat? I think he tried to finish what he started."
Etienne's gonna blink in surprise and like flip the knife end over end in her hand, still like peering around the room. I didn't see anything. What's wrong? What happened, Rose? Emma's looking you up and down as well, curiously.
I'm gonna rub my eye. Do the thing where you're like trying to get a hair out of it, you know?
Yeah, she'll walk over and take a closer look at you. Is there something in your eye?
Don't know. Everything's so blurry.
A puddle of mud begins playing.
The puddle of mud song.
Yeah. Indeed, I believe the first lyrics are "Everything's so blurry."
Aha.
I believe
Not
the song is
abandoned,
called
although.
"Blurry" by Puddle of Mud. And now I need to see because I might be insane. Nope, it literally is a song. Oh man. Is that again? Luckily, it did not start playing on stream. That would have been bad news. But yeah, Etienne will, well, she'll practically climb into your lap and then peek into your eye. Like, part your eyelids with her fingers. Alright, see anything in your eye? She'll, like, flip the knife away and then put her hands on your cheeks. You're looking very pretty, though.
Well, I wish I could say the same. I want to say your name is Smudge.
Is it really that bad?
Is it really that bad?
Yeah, as in, like, how blind are you?
That was my question to the GM.
Ah, I see. As I said, like, it's like putting the Gaussian blur filter on by, like, a few pixels. Right now, it's not bad. Like, you know how the world is made up of hard edges? Those don't have hard edges anymore, but you can still do things like make out facial features, expressions, like, you can make out shapes. She holds up some fingers, like, you can count them, no problem.
Actually, as an artist, most of the world and things you see are not made of hard edges.
Okay. Would you argue that the world that you're looking at isn't as though you're looking through Gaussian blur at, like, 3 pixels?
Yeah, you can kind of argue it is out the side of your eyes, since only things that are in your focus are really rendered sharply.
Okay, yes, through the side of your eyes, but that I feel is a moderately pedantry.
It completely is.
But yes, I could give you very much an example by opening a picture and then blurring it by the amount that you see blurry. That might actually be an interesting way to handle it, if you'll give me a moment.
Gaussian blur in Photoshop.
Yep. Just gonna pull up a picture. What I should do is actually just also pull up the picture of Etienne so that it's like you see this, I guess, quite exactly. Fuck.
Miss Smudge.
Yeah, give me a moment, and we'll sort that out. But yeah, no. For now, it's moderately blurry, but you can still make out details just fine. Your hearing, though, is undoubtedly sharper. Like, she's, basically in your lap, and you can hear everything about her up close. Like, I mean, a vampire's hearing is naturally sensitive. Like, you can pick up heartbeats and stuff, but that's a thing that you get used to and then you tune out unless you particularly need it. In this case, it's like you've forgotten how to tune that out again. It's so much clearer than usual.
You hear her erection grow more turgid as she realizes that you basically are permanently blindfolded now.
Her fetish. I need to
But
find
she's primarily sub Switch.
She is a primarily sub Switch, yes. Whereas Emma would be full sub.
Mm-hmm. And Rose is primarily dom Switch.
Look, I can't justify all my jokes, okay?
You can damn well try.
You can certainly try, though. Here we go. There's a... I'll just drag that into here, and then filter, blur, Gaussian. Set 3. There you go. Alright, so I'll save as. Let's see if this works out okay. Okay, so the normal version is Etienne's token as you see her right now. And now if I switch this and drag it in, I'm a genius, a mad genius. That is the differences in definition.
Oh, it's not even that bad. You barely need a prescription.
Yep, as of right now, that's how it is. That would be what we consider 3 pixels. The difference between that and, you know, like far worse will become more apparent. But right now, that's what you're dealing with.
Oh no, I don't see in 1080p anymore. I see in 720.
Yeah.
I'm offended.
Why are you offended?
I watch most of my videos in 720, thank you very much.
Oh, okay.
Just depends on your monitor, man.
Yep.
More like depends on my Ethernet.
Also, it also depends on the FPS. I think FPS matters a lot more than resolution does.
And the FAPs per second are also important. You're correct.
Yeah. So I will respond. Not smudge, but you're squint. Blurrier?
Okay. That's yeah, okay. That seems to be a problem. Did vampires need glasses?
If we did before we died,
Huh.
this isn't. We stay static once we're turned like this.
That's weird then. That's definitely weird. Any idea then why you're blurry now? Well, why we're all blurry now?
I don't know. Personal decision that I shouldn't ask you about. It's your life decision. Did you choose to be blurry?
No, I like to be well defined. Well defined in every possible way.
I also like you to be well defined, but what? Squint again.
Yeah, she'll try and test if it's that it's short-sighted or long-sighted or something, but no, it's just the whole world appears to have that level of blur to the edges of it.
I'm gonna try. Maybe it's some kind of damage. I was involved in an explosion yesterday. Let's see if it's just some residual damage. I'm gonna pump blood into it,
Okay,
trying to heal the affected area.
it does not appear to do anything. If you pump more into it to the point where it would increase the statistic of it, you can get back up to what would be considered normal vision, but even you'd be aware that that's you're having to exert a physical effort to improve it.
I'm not sure what strength, dexterity, or stamina is associated with eyesight, but
Yes, no. I mean, there are ways to invest points in your senses, though, aren't there? You don't have that ability, but
nah.
Yeah, it's not part of any of
I'll
those.
mark off a vitae though for attempting it.
Yeah. It does not do
Not
anything
healing.
for you. Okay, so I guess it doesn't damage. Is it magic? You piss off a wizard?
Not that I know of, but who fuck knows what wizards are anymore.
Maybe there's some kind of wizard optician who does this to people so that he can get good service.
Well, I'm leaving him a bad review on Yelp.
So would I. It's pretty bad.
You can bend reality itself, but Yelp reviews are still your weakness.
Yep.
7 out of 10. Service was fine, but they blurred my vision to get me in here.
And then that looks crazy. It's like, wizard stole my eyesight! I think this optician is in league with him.
What?
It's kind of mad genius, isn't it?
A fucking Haitian voodoo god stole my other eye, so it's not that far outside the realm of possibility.
Yeah. Okay, any other changes? Does it actually hurt?
No. I can also hear you guys talking in the other room.
We were barely talking. We were staying quiet so that we didn't wake you up.
You know I sleep like the dead, right?
Yeah, exactly, but, you know, and then this time rolls around, and then suddenly, like, we make a creak and you're, like, up and at it. So we try to be careful.
Well, I don't know. I know. I think Claire and them have like super good hearing, but I never had that. It's not really one of the perks of me. But now I can.
Tell you what, give me a wits composure.
I'm good at wits composure.
Yeah.
Not wits result, fucking wits composure. You stupid. Is this a trained observer thing?
No, this is literally you just testing the capacity. You can put your extra dot in that.
Extra dot.
Yeah, your power dot. A shiny new discipline.
Ah. Did it roll? It did. Okay.
Alright, 3 successes. Then yeah, they'll, like... Emma will step into the other room, and she quite literally drops a pin. You can't quite tell that it's a pin being dropped. It sounds like something got dropped, but hard to say. But yeah. Your hearing is sensitive that you heard a pin drop in the other room.
Okay, that's worrying.
I mean, that sounds really cool. Why would that be worrying?
Well, it came with a blurry eye, and you know how they say your senses get better when you lose your eyesight?
Uh-huh.
Kinda.
Well, I
Circle
mean...
my hands around like, yeah.
Of course, but I mean...
Good.
that in itself isn't good, but I mean, I'm sure we can get you glasses for that. We can't make your hearing awesomer.
It's all fun and games until someone yells in your ear.
Thankfully, I think the discipline, it's not that bad. But probably would be bad for Rose right away. But so, well,
Can you still...
like this?
Can you still see ghosties?
That eye seems fine, but there aren't any around right now, I don't think.
Yeah, you'd have
Wait,
to take
there aren't ghosts around right now, and I can't see them. Is my ghost eye okay? I will.
You'll have to get up and test that.
I will look at them. Like, is the mist still in there?
Yeah, I mean, she'll make a little face, like, I don't know, your mists don't seem any swirlier than usual. Still there. It's not a big super hole.
Okay, well,
I wonder, what is it like to put a finger in there and swirl it around? Just a random point of curiosity, not something I'm about to try.
I've always been curious to that myself.
Never worked up the courage?
Oh, it's still an eye socket, you know?
Yeah, no, it's kind of weird. You're not really
Kind
into
of weird.
skull fucking, I imagine.
No. Not that kind of vampire. There's some weird fucking vampires out there.
There are some weird fucking vampires out there. Nod sagely. Emma returns and she's munching toast.
Weird kind of vampires.
Uh-huh. Did a vampire fuck up your eyes?
Yesterday, after the explosion, we went and talked with blind vampires. Like, a whole mess of blind vampires.
I feel like that you should have led with. That sounds like kind of what happened here. So, you met a whole bunch of blind vampires. Did they have good hearing?
Yeah, echolocation.
That sounds like people who can't see very well but hear very good right now.
Yeah, I didn't think it was related because they're bloodline. So you know how so there's basically like vampire genetics, right?
Yeah, you happen to be the kind best suited to spooky ghost powers and being hot.
Yeah, like I could trace my lineage back to some Haitian dude.
Uh-huh. I mean,
Uh,
I'm acquainted. We were at the party.
these guys have no relation to me.
Hmm. I hesitate to use it as some kind of metaphor, but did you get vampire AIDS? Is this like the bloodlines crossed over? You know, you mixed a bit of blood you shouldn't have mixed, and now you're sick?
I never even touched him. We never shared blood.
Hmm. Okay.
Okay. Here's the plan.
Alright.
One of you, I need glasses.
Sure, but what kind?
Just grab a few from like Walmart
Okay.
or something like. Hi, dog. Yes. Um, they have those
Yeah, like,
pre-made.
reading glasses and stuff, sure.
Yeah. Um, I'm gonna get in contact with Claire.
Alright, sure.
She'll know what's going on.
Yeah.
Maybe. Unless she also has vampire AIDS.
I imagine it'd be pretty bad news if all of you went blind. Wait, isn't her hearing already awesome? Did that fuck her vision up when she got that? Or is she like,
It's
no?
just part of her weird powers.
Does she have
like I
double good
said,
hearing now?
You know, like the genetics thing. Like her genetics get her really good hearing,
I see, okay.
and did not make her blurry.
Right.
Yeah. So when he gets glasses, I'm gonna get in contact with Claire. Um, hmm.
It sounds like Dr. Doggo is assured you have AIDS.
Can I get a second opinion? Nope.
Not HIV, but full blown AIDS. Boomer,
Classic.
how's your leg, buddy? How's your leg? Oh, you limping over here?
God, they're so whiny. What's got them all fucking fucked up right now?
It's about that time, you know?
The time when
about
you're
to go
about to play
outside.
that time when you're about to play D&D, so they all lose their shit.
That time where I'm about to get that phone call.
Yeah,
It's gonna blast right into the microphone.
of course. Of course.
Um,
Well, at least we're ready for it.
that's my plan right now.
Okay, yeah. Etienne will throw on
Oh,
some clothes.
Etienne, how was Secret Project? Wink. Wait,
Is it always a
where are you
wink, or are you
here?
blinking? Because it's honestly kind of hard to say.
Wink, wink.
You have to say wink because it honestly could be blinking when it's you.
I have eyelids on both.
Yeah, I know, but you tend to like close that one anyway.
True. Yes, I was winking.
Okay, cool. 1 second then, and she's going to hop up, bring over a laptop, and open up a folder. In it are a reel of photos.
Maybe I will require glasses for this part.
She'll pause and go. The moment might be a little bit spoiled by them being blurry. Do you want me to go get glasses first?
Yeah, well, we're already here.
Well, okay then, sure. And she'll like flick through a few that just appear to be scenery, and she'll admit. So I mean, just so you're aware, it looks really strange for an adult to be taking photos at the park. So I took lots of photos, and then just in a bunch, your kids there. Just don't want to look like a creepy lady.
Right.
And she'll flick through a bunch, which are really quite nice scenery shots, as far as you can tell.
Don't want to look like a creepy lady. You're just taking photos of someone else's kid, and that someone else is thought to be dead.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if I were actually... There it is. There it is. And now we play the waiting game. Let's go sip this coffee. Ah, coffee. So, you guys seen that sport ball? Cool. Cool.
Sorry, I'm eating food.
No worries.
Which you can see a picture of if you like. I put it in the Discord.
Oh, let's peep. Hey, nice. Some chili baguette. I think anything that's just stored inside some bread is just the studentiest thing.
In theory, it's meant to be garlic bread, but the garlic butter isn't very garlicky.
Well, chili bread's fine. I usually cheat and just get like a shit ton of garlic puree and put that in instead.
Okay.
Hello.
They all heard the phone ring, so now
So,
they're
of course.
expecting to go out.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Okay. So, yes, she'll flick you through some stuff, and in these images you can see your daughter. She's playing with a great big old dog, and a bunch of them. Let's see here. She resembles you quite a lot in ways, although her hair has got sort of the frizziness that matches that of her father's. It's obviously a little bit more tanned. There are other people who are playing with her. But it's also, it's cold. Everyone's sort of, bundled up in extra jackets and such because, it gets fucking cold. But otherwise, the sky is clear.
Take that, Stray. This isn't California.
Yep. Yep, to you guys, it is...
Stray isn't here.
Yep. In fact, I need to change the date to January the 3rd.
So, quick question. Does this
Sure.
count as seeing my touchstone for the purposes of regaining willpower?
Yes, effort was gone too, although it was effort made by your ghoul in order to acquire this. Like, you have gone out of your way in order to ensure that your touchstone is doing okay and is present and exists and is still a relevant part of your life. I would say that qualifies, yes. Of course, you mentioned touchstones, and I realised that there's that old typical thing that I nearly forgot completely. Let's bring that up. Everyone's fucking aspirations.
Ah.
I know, right?
See, it's a good thing that when we were discussing this whole thing last session, I was like, I'm gonna change one of my aspirations now.
Yep. So yes, Lily, you currently have the aspirations: get a club off the ground, make big money, and help Tim with his job, which has 2 pluses in it. Would you like to change any of those?
Wait, what?
You currently have the aspirations: get club off the ground, make big money, and help Tim with his job. And help Tim with his job has 2 pluses in it. Would you like to
Well,
change any of those aspirations?
but I just said it was a good thing we changed that aspiration last session.
It
I
hasn't.
changed.
Well, that we talked about that at the with the stream already off.
Ah, now we don't remember what it was. I think it was just fix my vision, but
It was probably fix your vision or stop this
yeah,
change or something like
replace club off the ground with
that. Okay.
fixed vision.
Alright. 21. Fix vision. As you might expect, simply getting glasses is not what we would consider a fix, but a temporary patchwork.
It's just putting duct tape over it.
Mm-hmm. Hey DCL, you happen to have the following aspirations: complete a job without resorting to violence. This has a plus in it. In a violent confrontation, kick the most ass. This has no plus in it. And perform a job alongside Rose, which has 2 pluses in it. Would you like to change any?
Nope.
Okay. Mers, you have research the persistent shadows with 1 plus. You have learn the identity of Grim Knight, no pluses in it. And resolve the side job shaking a few trees, which has 2 pluses in it. Would you like to change any of those?
Nope, fine for now.
Okay, and then poor Stray, can't do those bits. And then Rem isn't here right now, we'll go over his soon. But he'll need to take a new aspiration. Because he completed his acquaintance with the modern age and made modern person decisions. Next, he'll be taking buses and all sorts of shit, you guys. I'm sure it'll be great. But yes, Rose has seen her child again. She's young and healthy and exhibits both features of your own and your, her father. How does it feel?
It's always nice to know that your kid's doing fine. As long as the kid is doing fine and isn't being bullied. I will ask pointedly, she isn't being bullied, is she?
Betty will shake her head. Not that I could see. I don't think anyone would be willing to bully her surrounded by friends with a massive dog, so...
You never know. Problem with these kids nowadays.
I mean, the kids are eating Tide Pods, so...
That's not until next year. We have that to look forward to.
No, because don't worry, don't worry. The world of darkness is a brighter timeline than reality. We've covered this before.
Yeah.
Did you guys know that the wizards outlawed memeing? They fixed the world.
Oh. How does one outlaw what is ingrained human?
No, you don't get it, because they already knew that the memes controlled humanity, but the Illuminati wizards want to control humanity, so they stopped the memes. They exist in an existential ritual. Memes that could be born into fruition instead become fractal things, unobserved and observed at the same time, but unable to impact the real world in any possible way.
I'm not sure how I feel on this.
feel elated or sad that, that we don't get to live in a world without memes. Think of just how much better it would be if we could nuke that portion of the internet that exists, just make it gone. Sure, we'd
There's some good ones.
we'd lose the occasional good one, but the world would, as a whole, become a better place.
We wouldn't be
Yeah.
we wouldn't be gaining much, considering how we still have the racist part of the internet, bigoted part of the
look,
internet.
Oh,
Stupid.
It's all steps. It's
What
all
if the racist part just took over for the meme part? Like, there's this vacuum of internet now with no
I don't
memes,
know.
and that's a big vacuum.
That is a huge fucking vacuum.
I don't know. I don't think any of you are specialists in internet wizardry. Or just the
Humanity
internet.
craves
I
its
am-
memes. That's a
I am a
historical
memeologist,
fact.
thank you.
A memeologist.
I will have you know that I have a glorious ranking on Imgur. One of my memes has been tweeted by Imgur
Yeah. Okay. All right.
people.
Yeah. All right.
I am a certified memeologist.
So that was the last session of World of Darkness, you guys. How did you
Yes,
feel it went?
Emily.
Okay, so yeah, you have learned that your touchstone is doing fine. She looks happy and healthy. Her big old boofy dog is still big and boofy. And she
Wait, what?
resembles both of you more and more every day.
Wait, what?
What do you mean, wait, what?
Booby dog? What?
Boofy dog. Big
Oh,
boofer.
Okay. Okay.
It's a boofer, not a hacker or a walker. It boofs.
Was severely confused for a moment.
Does that help my vision at all?
Having your touchstone checked in on does not do anything specifically for your vision. I'm afraid that the beauty of your living child is not awaken anime-style additional vision powers in you.
You mentioned last session that I was going down the right path with that.
You are. The clinging to the things that do indeed matter to Rose are important for retaining the semblance of self necessary to avoid the slippery slope that is the Botticelli. It'll help you. It doesn't do anything directly for your vision, but it will help you.
Just making sure I'm going down the right path
You are.
here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll enact phase 1 of plans.
Now then, your humanity is actually at 7. That's a pretty healthy number. I don't know of many ways to quite literally raise that value, though.
Yeah, like humanity 8 is starting to go like altruistic.
I feel like Humanity 8 would be what Blade would be if the way he fought vampires wasn't actually by doing it with massive murder. Like, the concept of what he wants to achieve is totally would belong in the realms of Humanity 8 if it weren't for the fact that he achieved it with all that butchering.
Well, let's take a look at the sins. Well,
Yeah.
and
God, they're losing their shit.
I have to take them out soon, but
Borgs that kill.
yeah.
So Sophie.
Won't you move them at me?
Oh, I thought you were going into Snake Eater, but
I was. Oh wait, no shit, you're right. I was doing Sins of the Father. Sorry.
Yep.
I wanted the Snake Eater to transfer.
You
to Sins of the-
started Snake Eater and then went swiftly into Sins.
Breaking points for Humanity 8. These are things you can't do if you are Humanity 8. Oh, somebody's home now. Creating a ghoul. That's a sin against Humanity 8.
Yep. Goodness me.
Well, why don't you get back to me?
Yeah,
And
you know what? I'll get back to
somebody
you.
else
Indeed,
perhaps.
I can
I'm
bring.
gonna take the dogs out.
Sure, I'll bring up the humanity breaking points instead. So yes, creating a ghoul, being rejected by a human. Literally, if you have like a girlfriend or a boyfriend, and they're like, "No, we can't be together," that will fucking break your heart, and you will have to test a breaking point for your humanity.
Are you fucking kidding me? Getting rejected by your girlfriend can.
No, getting rejected by a human, like, it doesn't mean, like, that's an example, like, getting rejected by a human as a, because you are, a vampire.
Oh, okay.
Is,
So
is
because you're a vampire.
because you're a vampire. Yeah, it doesn't just mean your girlfriend breaks up with you. Like, unless there's.
Okay, that was okay.
Yeah, no, okay.
I
just
can
just
accept
like
that.
it, because otherwise it'd be like, you try and order food at like a Denny's, and they're like, "Oh, sorry, we're all out of bacon." You're like, "Ah, breaking
Okay,
point."
first off, that would send me closer to monstrosity.
Yep. All right. So riding the wave of a frenzy. So getting frenzied and not contesting it or failing to contest it. Depriving another of consent using a discipline, so doing things like altering their mind with your mind powers, or overpowering them with your vampire powers, or scaring them with something, like altering someone's ability to consent to anything using your
That's
discipline.
an optimistic view of humanity.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also, spending most of a day in the sun is a breaking point for humanity.
Really?
I don't know what the circumstances for spending most of a day in the sun are, except I can only imagine that it's because you're, protected directly from the sun's rays, but you're still up, it's the sun, and that's going to do you some harm if you're Humanity 8, because you're constantly aware of the fact that it would destroy you. Like, for instance, Claire can go through the day sleep. Like, she can ignore that, and stay awake through human daytime. Like, she can actually be awake during then. It's just that the fire, like the sun's scorchy orb, would still fucking kill her.
You think like staying inside and talking amongst humans during their normal daytime operating hours might get you humanity?
If you're inside and indoors, that's fine. But it's spending most of the day in the sun, so you're on that edge of killing yourself.
Okay.
Welcome back. You're talking about how weird it is that spending most of a day in the sun is considered a humanity reduction at 8.
If anything, you think the fear of mortality would actually remind you of what it's like to be human.
It's actually about like the reminder that you aren't human.
Okay, cool. Yeah, all right. I was on with that
That's
one.
why, like at Humanity 10, Humanity 9, spending an hour in the sun. Which, by the way, nobody's going to be spending like a day or an hour in the sun.
I know. Oh my god, Humanity 9. Your breaking point is watching humans eat a meal.
Really?
Yep. Committing a
even get
superhuman
past
feat
that?
of physical prowess.
How do you even get past Humanity 8? What even is my humanity, actually?
Yours is
Like,
probably
that's the thing,
7.
like,
It might be 6, but it's
the
usually 7.
default is 7. You can drop to like 6 for extra starting experience, but
My humanity 7. Didn't know you could opt for less. Probably wouldn't.
Yeah, because those breaking points are, kind of weird
Depends
ones.
on how bad Edra's training was.
Well, I mean, yeah, there is, to be fair, one of those humanity breaks for 7 is surviving something that would hospitalize a human, but it's entirely likely as well with her there you passed the breaking point test.
so yeah, going like above 7 is about really going altruistic. And like basically like kind of rejecting your vampire self, which in Rose's eyes is not healthy.
So 7 is like not a emotionless sociopathic vampire.
No, you don't reach that until, what is it, Humanity 5?
Even that's fucking all things.
Honestly, like getting down to like 5 or 6 or 5 is pretty weird. Like breaking point for Humanity 6 is feeding from a child. So once you're at 5, you don't give a shit about children. You can feed off them all you want.
Yep.
Oh, so once you get to 5, you're fucking
Oddly,
there.
breaking point for Humanity 6 is reading your own obituary.
Which is awesome.
Which, yeah. I imagine Rose having been dead for like a year.
Yeah, well, I mean, the reality is, like, these are considered to be breaking points. It doesn't mean that you then failed and lost humanity. It means you had to make a test for it, and it was okay.
Well, if you failed, then you lost.
If you failed, then you lost the point. But, like, there's a lot of assumptions that you can make that you were prepared for these situations and didn't get a breaking point.
Yeah, because I imagine some of those you would, depending on who you were, you'd be more jaded towards.
Yeah. Tim is at the Humanity 5, so...
There are a lot of things about the breaking points that are like that they are so incorrect compared to the rest of the things. Like, I can understand like a breaking point for Humanity 5 is 2 weeks being active without human contact. Like, that's kind of troubling. The other one is joining a covenant to the point of gaining status for it. That feels like such an easy thing to do, like, and that just feels like a healthy thing as well. Like, you're in a covenant and you've got some status in it. That feels like you're just doing your thing, but that's a breaking point instead.
That, I think, reinforces to me that it is about just humanity versus vampire.
Yeah, it's the same, except like humanity is mechanically built in such a way that as it drops, your ability to like even act or feel is like totally hemorrhaged when it shouldn't be. There's no reason that acting like a vampire should hemorrhage your ability to feel.
It's because you no longer like identify as a human. Have you noticed like a lot of the evil vampires in media? They refer to humans as like those people.
Yeah,
like,
the cattle.
They're others.
Like, I mean, admittedly, that's what kind means, but you know.
Yeah. It feels distinctly Japanese to me, even though it's not, because in Japanese media, for some reason, there is always a big fuss over if you get transformed and you are no longer, like, by biological definition human, you are suddenly a different thing and must act different.
Like, for instance, if you were changed from human, and game cat is that you have to be immediately adorable. Aw, yeah.
You know, I've never actually seen cat ears or nekomatas get treated with that light. It's usually like Sentai or half monster creatures.
I know, really. But yeah, no, the humanities are weirdly stilted in the way that they're balanced. Yes, so... But hanging on to your humanity is important. What were they in 1? I don't know.
Well, at least we can all agree on the fact that at Humanity 2, the last breaking point is retweeting a Ugandan Knuckles meme.
Well, yeah, that's here you go, Humanity 2, seeing a culture that didn't exist when you were alive.
Oh god. Oh god. Oh, poor Ram.
Yeah.
Poor Ram.
Well, that's the reality as well. Like, some of these breaking points don't apply if your humanity is already high enough, because those things don't cripple you because you aren't already dwelling on those things. So seeing a culture that didn't exist when he was alive, that was expected, and it hasn't really harmed his humanity. He went to sleep. Creating a revenant, it's on the same realm as premeditated killing and creating a revenant.
How does premeditated murder affect your humanity?
It's an immediate breaking point. It is in Humanity 2 as a breaking point, but at the same time, it's one of those ones that I feel is relevant enough for all the humanities.
It just depends on what you do too.
There's always going to be an exception, and as a storyteller, I can just say whether something is or isn't, like if it fits or not. But
and what if you're like killing like another vampire? Well,
again, like if it's a premeditated killing and it's not for, you know, like the obvious reasons for which you're a vampire. Like if you see a vampire and you think that guy's a stone cold asshole, I want to kill him. That's wrong. That's wrong, and that will be a breaking point if you do that kind of thing. However, if it's like your prince demands this guy dies, I'm not going to test you unless they're so amazingly innocent, but you still go through with it.
Killing a vampire freaks out a vampire's biology anyways, apparently.
Yeah. No one likes to do it. Most of them will, like... There is a specialist role that usually hands out the executions, because no one wants to kill them when it's not, like, unless it's in the middle of a fight. In fact, that's generally okay, but it's like, this vampire, you know, you got him bound and tied, you don't tend to be able to kill them particularly easily. You've only ever, in fact, the party's only ever seen that done by an exceptionally old and powerful individual. Because it's super fucked up. Outside of a fight, mind you. Humanity 1 is impressive. Killing your touchstone. If for some insane reason a Rose killed her own child, I'll take that character sheet off of you.
So if you're a business CEO and you get turned into a vampire, do you just start with humanity none? Because I feel that should be appropriate.
It's equal to your morality as a human.
Yeah.
Still fucking 0.
No, I would actually say if you were a ruthless, like, just a horrible, shitty person and a CEO, but the vampires that took you in happened to be a covenant in fitting with that, your humanity wouldn't be harmed too hard. It would probably be a lower number than the starting 7, but it's like, fucking... of course, I hate to say this, but it's like, if the Invictus picked you up and you were a ruthless business person, you're still gonna fit with the Invictus pretty fucking well. It's not gonna do damage to humanity in a meaningful degree.
I mean, it won't do any damage to humanity because you didn't have any to begin with.
So here's an interesting thing. In Vampire 1, Vampire the Requiem 1.0,
Mm-hmm.
they didn't have like it being, you know, humanity versus vampireanity.
Hmm.
You know, it was very similar to their morality scale. Humanity 10, you know, is selfish thoughts were a sin. Humanity 9, minor selfish acts were a sin. Humanity 8, injury to another, accidental or otherwise, is a sin. Humanity 7, petty theft is a sin. Like, it wasn't about being a vampire versus being human.
It was about being not a shit
it was
person.
just crimes, basically, or being a shit person.
Yeah, there you have it. But no, in this case, it's a lot harder to gain humanity. Like, I struggled to see Timothy acting in a way that's going to get him any of those dots back.
I mean, Rose in the old morality system would probably drop down to like 5.
Well, yes, you are a fucking professional criminal.
Exactly.
But you don't kill a lot of people, and you love your girlfriends.
Yeah. To be fair, dropping to humanity 5 wouldn't have been so bad for Rose in the old one. Whereas it kind of sucks for her in this one.
Well, yeah, you lose your touchstone.
Exactly.
You stop giving a shit about your daughter.
Exactly. And then I have like no way to regain willpower reliably, which sucks. Whereas in the old one, I just had an increased chance to gain derangements.
Which are fun.
Ventru are not stable people.
Indeed. I realise now that we've spent like half an hour just talking about mechanics,
Yeah.
but it's an interesting thing to talk about, so I apologise, and I also
It
at the same time don't apologise.
And now the dogs are quiet.
Ah, perfect.
Only now. And only for now.
And only for now, that's true. Oh well. Yes, Etienne will go out and she will fetch you some reading glasses while you're, filtering through images of your happy, cheerful daughter. And her big old doggo. Emma has managed to, essentially just climb into their bed with you and look through it. We should get a dog. That'd be fun.
Animals don't tend to like vampires.
None of them?
Ghoul ones.
Can we get a ghoul puppy?
Not a puppy. I'm not ghouling a puppy. It would, well, as tempting as it is for a puppy to stay a puppy.
Oh my gosh, if you ghoul a puppy, does it stay a puppy?
That's how ghouls work. Like, you're probably not going to age much.
I haven't been ghouled.
Wait, was this Emma or
This is
Etienne?
Emma. Etienne went out to get your reading glasses. She's, climbed up into bed.
Yeah. Etienne's probably not going to age much.
She has to stay hot.
You would stay pretty much the same too. It's like being a vampire light.
Interesting.
And if I've vamped either one of you, you just stay as you are, like right now. Which is why the eye thing is weird.
Right. Okay, this is starting to make more sense. Like, otherwise, physically, you couldn't possibly change.
Right. Like every morning, I just you could cut my hair right now. You just shave my head. Tomorrow morning, it's all back.
Does that mean if we did that, we'd be able to see it grow in like real time while you were asleep? Or
Not
does it just
real time, like super sped up time.
Well, okay, no, I mean, but like, does it just suddenly boing out, or does it, happen gradually over the night?
I don't know. I've never seen it happen. I've kind of been asleep.
Would you be really offended if I did that?
You might get punished.
That only makes
an eyebrow.
That only makes it more tempting. She'll shifty eyes. Can I take pictures?
You can make the
it
attempt.
wouldn't. Oh, it would shut up blurry, wouldn't it?
wood.
Uh,
Fix this.
okay. Oh no, she meant as in like taking a picture of you as blurry, and since you're asleep, you can't choose to make it not blurry.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So one of your girlfriends might, when you next go to sleep, shave your head just to see it happen.
I will be mightily upset, and they will get a punishing.
Okay. Oh my god, in the world's creepiest way, it would be really easy to make wigs with vampires. Holy shit.
You know, I think like the old hair kind of disappears.
Ah.
I'm not sure. Like you could probably rule it either way.
It might be that it would deteriorate faster than normal hair, but I wouldn't see it as just like all rotting away because that speaks of some really weird stuff.
Conservation of mass.
Yeah, true, true. But at the same time, it's like when a vampire dies, they don't disappear, they just suffer the accelerated loss. And hair itself hangs around for a long time.
They used to. They used to.
Just, yeah, money show. The puppy teething phase forever. Oh god, yeah, teething puppies. Oh god.
I think they used to just turn into an ash pile before.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, now also Emma would like a ghoul puppy. Or a ghoul doggo.
Oh god. I can learn animalism.
Is that a oh yeah, yeah.
I think like the first level of that is like supposed to be
Doggo ghouling?
something.
Hmm.
Uh,
You could ghoul your daughter's dog to protect her better. And that means your daughter never has to go through the suffering of a doggo dying.
No, the first level is feral whispers. Talk with animals.
Talk with fairies?
Talk with animals. And then the second level is to bring an animal back to life.
What the fuck? As in, like, literally, that's beyond ghouling them. That's essentially dog vampirism.
Yeah, you basically make a animal zombie.
That's fucking metal.
I mean, I could also learn to make actual zombies. As a fucking voodoo vampire.
Yeah. What part of which discipline is that one? That's not in Cara 4, is it?
No, but it's related to it's the voodoo. It's sort of like their ritual thing. Like it's not even specific to the Apollinaire bloodline. It's specific to like that region that the Apollinaire came from.
Is it Kruak related?
It's similar to Kruak, but it's treated as its own thing. Like there's no covenant to join. Apollinaire are especially good at it because of their connection to the
dead.
god of the dead.
I'm not just looking at Kruak rituals. They're pretty fucking cool.
It's in the same book with the Apollinaire. Like it's in the same.
Yeah, it's in Bloodlines the Chosen.
Ancient Bloodlines.
Oh, it's also Kruak stuff is in Bloodlines Chosen.
But this is not Kruak.
No.
This is Kindred Vadun.
Yeah. Alright. Ancient Bloodlines.
It is similar to the Kruak and Theban sorcery, where like when you put a point in it, you get to like choose from different rituals.
Yeah.
Because I've always been tempting or debating like whether to align myself with Ged or with Papa Legba or with Kalfu.
Of course, getting to choose your powers, because as cool as Delora is of the dead, your boy, I don't think his powers were ones that you particularly were interested in.
Right, but if I aligned myself with Ged, he would make my actual bloodline, like my Carafor abilities, even stronger.
That's really good. You already walk like
Yeah.
door thingy.
All of my like rolled abilities with Carafor get a +1 if I practice voodoo and my patron Loa is Ged.
Huh. But Ged's powers itself were like
He's the you get to raise the zombie
yeah,
guy.
Zimzams.
Um, his stuff is really good, just not very good for Rose.
Hmm.
Like you get to call a death echo of a vampire, like relive like a moment of a vampire's final death, or you get to make shit just immediately disintegrate, like rot away or corrode.
Some
You get
cool
to
shit.
create a zombie. You get to bring the soul of a slain vampire back to the dust that of their remains and talk with them for a while.
Oh, screaming
And
ghosty dust faces. It's all good
and the
shit.
level 5 one is you perform this ritual and you're just immune to death for a night.
So it's like, fucking stab them through the heart, cut off their head, all
You,
that shit doesn't work.
you're basically like, hey Ged, here's all this cool shit for you. Pouring one out for my homies. You got my back tonight? And
Amazing.
Ged's like, yeah.
All right,
I
sure.
mean,
Let's see what crazy bullshit you get up to, Rose.
yeah, a home gun who performs this ritual cheat death is protected by Ged from final death for 1 hour after the ritual is performed. No matter how hard his foe may try, the home gun simply will not die when under the protection of his patron Loa.
Amazing and awesome. That seems
You
like
can
a cool
perform
power.
it at any time during the night and then just activate it as an instant action. And from then, it goes for the hour.
Cool shit.
So they're really cool powers. Like Ged is pretty cool. Just Rose doesn't have like what's Rose gonna do with that?
The power of not. That's like, those are awesome powers, but not ones you'd get a use out of, like, ever.
Yeah, like that would be great for anybody in combat or anyone.
To
I
be
don't
fair,
know.
the speaking to vampire ashes thing might be legitimately
Yeah,
useful and a thing that she would be
that
interested
is.
in.
But that does require you to like lock yourself into
No, you're in
Ged.
the Ged slot if you go that far.
The first 2 slots you can do anything.
Ah.
The level 1, the level 2, you can go for any of the 3. Once you hit 3, you have to pick.
Oh, interesting.
And see, for me, I was gonna go for Papa Legba, whose level 1 is see and speak to spirits. Level 2 is speak and read any language.
I mean, do you need
3
anything else after that point? Because you could just grab those and go.
3 is remove the ability to comprehend a word, a name, or a person from someone's mind.
Oh yeah, of course, that power. That's really awesome. You just tell them to forget banana, and
Yeah.
then that's just their life over.
That's an example of if a victim is made to forget the word apple, he subsequently confronted with an apple, he sees it as round. Then he sees that it is red, but he cannot recall or see that it is also round. He then feels that it is smooth, but he cannot recall or see that it is also round and red, and so on. So he sees this thing, he sees the individual things, he just can't piece it all together.
That's
I
an amazing thing to do to someone as a storyteller. If I was just like, Timothy, you are looking at an object. It is tall and it is metal. Probably as tall as a building. Like, okay, I go up and look at it. Alright, so this thing that you're looking at, it appears to be shining down light. And they go, so it's a tall thing that shines down light. No, I didn't say that. No, you see a thing and it makes light. Just keep going like that until they're like, I can't tell what the red lamppost is anymore. Oh my god.
And I can have them like do that for me. I can remove me from their head.
Yep, they can't recall Rose ever. An incredible power.
And then I can leech someone's like skills. Like I can just steal somebody's skills from them. That's a breaking point for humanity 4, but
Yeah.
cross that bag and come to it. And then at level 5, I can create a grease.
Gree.
Creepy, yeah. But that yeah, has like various effects to it. Basically, depending on the spirit trapped inside. And I'm going to be dealing with werewolves.
So yeah, you want that spirit, you want that spirit power, so you can be on the same level as them. It'll weird their shit out that you're able to interact with the spirits freely, but
Fucking universal translator, understanding them when they're talking in werewolf.
all right, that is all very cool.
That's so much better for Rose than zombies.
Yeah, that is a lot cooler than zombies.
And then there's Kalfu, who's just like curse. Curse. Level 1 is a curse. Level 2 is an oath thing, which another character with an oath thing. No. Level 3 is a curse. Level 4 is a curse. Level 5 is a voodoo doll.
Oh, like an actual legitimate poke 'em in the ass. They feel it in the ass voodoo doll.
Yeah. It actually has like place a pin here and do this effect.
So rad.
If you create a voodoo doll of a vampire and you place a pin in the heart, the target is staked. Actually, I think that's not even vampire. That's just anybody.
Well, yeah, I feel like putting a pin in anyone's heart's gonna fucking suck for them. But okay.
Yeah.
Man, oh man.
They're just paralyzed while the pin is in their heart.
Horrifying. Anyway. Your morning is spent in the ways of reveling in family and thinking about cool voodoo shit and wondering how to deal with cool voodoo shit. You call Claire up, I imagine.
Yeah, I'm gonna fill her in and
Right, give me...
I ask her to not to tell Tim.
Right, okay.
Tim's got a lot on his plate right now with the job now.
And the shadow crazy thing.
Yeah.
Alright, let's give it a go here. We'll go with occult, intelligence. And she got any dots for things? That won't help, that won't help, that won't help. That might help. Okay. So she rolled normal, but there is a -2 mod still. A success. Okay. So she has some information for you. It's nothing concrete or exceptionally useful. But it turns out that the Botticelli themselves, as far as a little group are concerned, work a pretty strange magic. Like, people's own bloodlines crop up for, like, all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I say all the time. People's own bloodlines do crop up. What they do is basically that effect. It creates a bloodline out of someone that consists of whatever they were before, and then also the Botticelli. And specifically, it grants them a mimetismo, but it also grants them gradually these Botticelli curses. As for what that means or how to stop it, she doesn't know. She has nowhere near enough information for that. But quite literally, your bloodline is changing, and that seems to be the case. And she's also immediately concerned and would also immediately like to look into this and see more, and insist that she will, get some books and stuff.
Yes, please. I would prefer not to go blind.
Yes.
It's very important for my burglary.
Yep. She will, tell you to phone her or send a message or whatever if it continues to get worse. But otherwise, she'll be looking into it for you. It's some pretty fucked up shit. Yeah. Your bloodline is changing. Quite literally in the same way that someone would be able to make their own bloodline. The reality is, I guess at the end of this, assuming you don't lose your, faculties of vision, you could make a rose bloodline. As to whatever that would be.
Yeah, I brought that up last time, yeah.
Yes, you actually mentioned something similar. It's like, technically then if I have 2 unique disciplines, then that can become a bloodline. I'm like, well, yeah, actually, that's kind of what they do to people. They turn them into a bloodline, but if you keep going, you just become Botticelli with a sprinkle of whatever you used to be.
Yep, yeah. But, have her look into that. I'm gonna be looking into it. Um, yeah, yeah.
You know.
About all I got right now.
Okay. Yeah, that's all she has for information, but that appears to be the state of play. Eventually, Etienne returns with a whole bunch of glasses. And they do, in a way, work. They are magnifying things, but you're pretty sure it would be giving you a headache or eye strain or something to look through these. At the moment, all it seems to be doing is just buying you a bit more focus in like the foreground. You know, they're effectively they're still reading glasses. You can see stuff sharp as long as it's maybe, let's see here, about half a foot in front of your face. Otherwise, it's not really doing much for you. Otherwise, but say you need to look at something in sharp detail, then you can put some glasses on and get your face meets right up in it. But sadly, these things aren't like they can't undo the fact that your eyes have an unnatural, like stigmatic effect.
Right. I expected out of character, but
Yeah, I imagine that Rose is frustrated the glasses don't magically fix the problem. But yeah, they'll magnify things, and the process of magnification will make things seem clearer to you, but that really only works for the distance by which someone would read a book. It's along the same lines of, I mean, I suppose what you could do, and she'll mention this, is put on the glasses and then look through a telescope. You'd be able to see things far away a bit clearer than before. That technically would work, but also be fucking very hard to utilize.
I'll go get myself one of those little spy glasses. Just jam it into my.
Etienne will scoff at you, and then she will walk over to the wardrobe where her hunter gear is. And you remember the aesthetic is all like classic leathers and like tricorns and crossbows and all that shit. And she will pull out a bronze spyglass.
There's sarcasm, you know.
Yeah, I know, yeah. You're like being sarcastic, and she'll just scoff and go, fucking, bitch, I have a spyglass. It's dope. Yeah, she'll toss you the spyglass.
That would give her a look.
A
look that says you're going to regret that later.
And she gives you a look that says that she is all too happy about that fact. And just wait until she hears about Operation Shave Rose while you're asleep. You see, it's a good thing they're innocent. More morbid people would be like, you could do anything and they'll just recover. But like, well, they don't need that foot. And then just say, oh my god, it's real. Ah! Ah! Whole foot. 40k bionic guys win. Yes, just chop off a foot. They've got a new foot. What have you got? Ah, skeletons. Skeleton in your hand. It used to be a foot, but it's foot bones.
See, that's the thing where it's like, I'm pretty sure it turns to dust.
Yeah, probably. Well, no, it just withers in the same... Like, you want an old enough vampire for it to dust. It would wither and decay as though it were, like, a dead rose.
World would be so full of, like, vampire pieces.
Yep. Yeah, I suppose if you were, like, a vampire who's fresh, you know, like, a couple of days old, limbs you chopped off would also, you know, they would revert to just a couple of days old. And that'd be pretty fucking weird. I mean, it's fucking weird anyway, but it's also weird that you could just be surrounded by, like, fresh hands and feet.
Fucking weird.
Okay. Now that we've killed a vast quantity of time in the hope that people will turn up, let us continue on. Timothy.
Yo.
You slept in the cleaner's van, and then they parked in the garage. When you wake up, it is on the floor of a van, in darkness, in a garage.
Yeah. I'll, is there a, like, latch on the inside or anything?
Yeah, no, all these doors are openable from the inside.
Okay. Wasn't sure if I'd need to, you know, knock and get someone to unlock it for me.
Nope, all like, you know, panel vanny type things have like an internal hook to open doors up that, you know, doesn't require the lock. Otherwise, that would be an incredibly bad safety feature. Yeah, you just reach up for a handle and click, and it opens up. Thankfully, they didn't like back into the drive and like you just open up into a wall. They actually, you know, parked front forward so you can leave. You just step out into the like, you know, little parking area. You can see that there are other cleaner vans, and when you do step out, there's a couple of people who are like already dressing up in the blood spatter safety smocks, and they're like, so Timothy, is it okay with you if we have that van, please?
Go right ahead.
Thank you.
Finished with it.
Yep, they will immediately just like grab a whole bunch of like literal cleaning supplies. You recognize like bleach and lime and all sorts of stuff. A shit ton of rolls of plastic bags. Imagine the guys out of the brain suddenly failed me. What is that building called? The one with all the people, like the concierges and stuff.
I don't know.
You know, the building out of
Hotel?
the hotel out of John Wick. They're what is the name of
The
that?
Continental.
That's it. Like the Continental's cleaners when they come over and it's just, you know, like they scoop up the bodies and they get the plastic bags and haul that shit away. They're tooling this truck up for that, as opposed to it previously it was being used for, you know, being put on watch. Looks like they've got to go sort out a messy one. Yeah, they pile it all in and then they will drive off and you are left to the garage.
I should probably go and report to the bartender.
Yep, she's looking somewhat more relaxed now that a number of those duties have been settled off onto the prince, and also that a bunch of the elders have now fucked off back to their respective cities. Timothy, good to see you again. Did you enjoy your night of sleeping like a transient?
Not especially, mistress, but a little lapse in luxury is always good to cut one's teeth on.
She'll snort softly and sip from her glass. Very well. I take it then, considering you were out to the very limits of the night, that you have some information for us.
Indeed, mistress. Firstly, I have good news. Sir Gideon. Well, actually, did Gideon send me a message? I think he did, didn't he? I forget.
He sent you it's part of why he got marked for getting hip to the lingo. He did used a phone and sent a text. It's not a particularly well written text. It's like someone who just, you know, types very slowly and still uses all of the letters and punctuation, but it also takes them a very long time. Essentially, like, the elder is still here and I'll be sleeping here, and that's basically what it is.
Sir Gideon has informed me that Elder Torina is healthy, though his messenger seems to have been waylaid.
She'll furrow her brow in consternation. And is there any kind of proof that he really did send a messenger, or is that all just a bold-faced lie?
I will check with Sir Gideon when he returns. He had to spend the night.
I see, you weren't the only one who stayed over... She'll pause. He stayed the night at Elder Torina's asylum.
That is what he told me.
That's something I would wish on any of my own. I will say this now. The Motrovians are an unusual folk, and I hesitate to impress such a thing upon you, but you would not want to stay the night with them. I'm sure Gideon is fine. But at the same time, she'll just tut and shake her head idly, as though she doesn't really have a particularly good way to describe it, or perhaps just not a polite way to. Regardless, yes, it will, I'm sure, have more information later. And what else have you learned?
The others are missing. Except for Chef, who has almost certainly suffered the final death.
I thought it had been Esteban's whose remains had been recovered.
Oh.
Is there new evidence of Chef's passing?
No, that was the voice in my head not remembering something that happened more than a month ago.
Ah, of course, yes, no, I'm familiar with that one. Sometimes they forget that they blinded a player character. You know, silly things like that.
Yes. Chef is missing. The Batticelli elder is in hiding. And there was no sign of... what was his name?
Can't I?
Yes, Cotton Eye.
That's right. From Cotton Eye's van, you recovered the broken glove box whose key actually matched, which is strange because the key to Cotton Eye's glove box should not have been, like, anywhere near Chef's place. And it contained a satellite phone, a memory stick, and a matching revolver to the same kind that had been in Esteban's place. Oh, no, it was at the same place as Chef's. Wait, no. Esteban had the revolver, Chef had the key. There you go.
God. There appears to be some interconnection between some of them. I will not bore you with details until I have established more.
Yes, I suspect that this would be more intriguing to one akin to murder mysteries. Such as it seems, you have a lot of loose threads, Sir Timothy.
Indeed. But there is one matter that I would ask of you.
Do ask.
Are you familiar with any individual or organization that might use the alias 7?
Give me a wits composure and I'll give you a +2 for knowing the bartender for as long as you have.
Sure.
There is a glint to her eyes that you've not, well, probably never really seen from her before. For a brief moment you'd swear she was afraid. Well, that should be impossible. She'll frown gently as though that were quite literally the briefest of glimpses. We're aware of the call sign, yes. However, what we know of 7 is much hearsay. She'll frown in concern. You saw this at Esteban's, yes?
Indeed.
And you have reason to believe that this information, this reference, has turned up in any of these other locations?
Emilia Weber, Jacques' second, gave some indication in that regard, yes.
Interesting. I believe you're the one who has the Nokia that can call her, right?
Indeed. Cool. Actually, was I allowed to keep that, or did it get taken back? I forget.
That's a good question. I will double check at some point. It might actually be that she took it back afterwards. She just handed it off to make the call to Weber. In fact, you know what? Let's leave it a chance. Roll me a 1d10. If it's a 10, you got it, otherwise she took it back. She took it back. I hadn't thought what a crit failure might have been on that. Probably something fun, I'm sure. Vapor is a 7, you die! Okay. She'll frown and shake her head slowly. I struggle to believe that the 7 would come to a place so large as San Pasado. Come with me for a moment, Sir Timothy. She will turn and walk towards the familiar route to the offices.
I'll incline my head and follow.
Yeah. As you do so, she takes you to a familiar room that always and forever smells like cigar smoke, even though no one here would smoke for obvious reasons, though they occasionally vape. And when you're taken into this room, you've never seen it in the state that it currently is. The furniture is still sharp and austere. There's still like a natural warmth to the room that's quite pervasive. However, where there used to be a bookcase, it is gone. Indeed, there's no wall behind it either. You can see that it reaches quite a lot deeper in. She will lead you past where once a bookcase was, and it opens out into, I wouldn't say a much larger room, maybe only a meter or so around, larger. The carpeting is of the same style as was in the sitting room, but it appears to have been placed over like colder flagstone. The like edges of the walls reveal like stone that is, older than San Pasado, frankly, and must have been carried here from some other place. There is a sense of just age here that is not in keeping with the rest of the Elysium. And you can see at the centre of this room is the prince himself. He will look to the two of you.
Will bow very deeply.
Ah, yes, it's good to see you again. You were Sir Timothy. He doesn't state it as though it were a question, but more a statement of fact. You're fairly sure that even if your name weren't Sir Timothy, you would probably go, "Yes, my prince, it is."
Mm-hmm. Indeed, Your Majesty.
I am intrigued that you've been brought here. Please do tell, what has sparked your interest? You can see, like, resting next to what is a, it's not a majestic throne. In fact, it's a similar, like, just sort of oaky, deep-coloured, deep-toned wood that makes up a lot of the furniture in the previous living room you've just walked through, although it is undoubtedly resembling a throne. There's a stack of books, and you can see that a lot of it appears to be, at a quick squint, you can see the bindings of some things, and they appear to be, like, English to such ever languages, and, like, just, you notice a lot of history books. He's obviously trying to get himself reacquainted with things missed. The bartender will look to Timothy and announce that I'm sure Sir Timothy can explain for himself, if it is all right with you, my prince. He'll give her the gesture off. She'll smile faintly, curtsy, and leave. And now it's just you and the prince.
Oh boy, I've either done something very good or very bad.
Indeed, he noted, he'll wait until she has left the room into the living space, and then she passes in through the door. There is a long moment's pause, wherein you're sure even if you didn't have mimetismo boosted ears, you would be able to hear a pin drop. Sir Timothy, it appears that this matter may be more serious than I had anticipated when you were brought here. Please do tell me what troubles you.
There is reason to believe, Your Majesty, that your realm is under threat.
He will wave his hand. I have no time for theatric pauses. Please do continue.
Pardon me. Some of your vassals have been assaulted and one slain by a group using the alias of Seven.
I see why you were brought before me, and for those who don't remember, this is the prince, suave bastard that he is. I do like us the prince. The Seven are dangerous. For obvious reasons. They're capable of introducing us to the final death, and there seems to be very little the Kindred can do about it. I find myself intrigued in the specifics. Before I go into further detail, please do tell me what you have witnessed of these Seven.
Their sigil written in the blood and ashes of their victim, one Esteban. Further, the elder of the Batticelli bloodline has been forced into hiding. He believes that the Seven are sending assassins after him.
The Seven don't send assassins, Sir Timothy. The Seven hate us. They hate us with a burning intensity that could be matched only by the Strix, the Shadows, and the Owls. I was appraised of your work in dealing with them previously, as your former accolades, no doubt. And you remember he did in fact title you, but it wasn't a landed title for any reasons, because that would kind of defeat the object of you being an agent. You see, the Strix are like... They are like the Seven's calling card, more so than their blood on the wall. Wherever they turn up, and do their harm before they are either forced to leave or slain, in this case, I would believe slain and maybe a few scattered off, the Seven turn up afterwards. We aren't sure if it's because they wish to chase after the Strix and find information, whether they are in fact just simply the Strix who walk in kindred bodies, or particularly dangerous hunters capable of anything. The reality is they've gone by many names through the past, and whenever the name or the numbers written on walls in blood have turned up, the kindred population in such a town has become 0.
I see. That explains one matter, then. I take it, my prince, that the lady bartender informed you of my nature.
Of course, I believe you are a walker of shadows. Rather powerful in your own time. And he'll pause and ponder for a moment, and you can just see behind the hood a glimpse of ages past, trying to muddle through the fog of ages, such as it were. Alas, I find my recollections of such times quite in tatters, but your kind leave an interesting impression upon me. Tell me, what are you capable of in reality, Sir Timothy?
A great deal. My prince, I can control shadows. Not simply to make illusions, but now to take physical form. And indeed I can myself step from one shadow to another, or transform myself into a shadow.
He'll nod idly. Make a wits composure test. I'm afraid that this will be at -3 and your status will not help you against the prince.
Of course, I get the same number of successes when I was rolling more than twice as many dice.
Some good rolls. You get the impression that he is somewhat impressed. You can't see it. His face does not even move, not a single tick. And it's not that he's trying to keep his being impressed from you, it is just the nature of himself. but you've probably left a good impression. I see. Well then. In which case you would have probably been quite the apt fighter in the matters of these Strix. However, I should inform you that these 7, we've never taken one of them alive, or unliving, such as the matter may be. The last time someone came particularly close to uncovering their secrets was somewhere along the lines of 600 years ago. And he will pause. You realise you're about to watch the prince stand up out of his throne. But he does so, and you probably feel like the smallest person in the world as he stands there. He looks just larger than life when he walks around. The pressure of his beast is so much just older, more powerful. And he walks around behind his throne and grabs something. And it looks almost ridiculous how what he pulls out is just a simple-looking iPad. And he returns to his throne and sits down and begins swiping gently through it. Very useful to see that the archives of our times past have been devoted to technology conveniently at one's fingers, wouldn't you say, Sir Timothy?
Indeed, my prince.
And he will continue to flick through it until he finds what he is interested in, and he will toss it towards you. I won't make you do a test to catch it, because I can't imagine a worse feeling than like just failing hard to catch an iPad full of your Invictus, your Covenant's oldest secrets. Yes, you're able to deftly catch it from the air. What you're looking at appear to be scans of information, and below them are translated to English margins of these documents. As you peruse your way through, you can see it's basically the old equivalent of an investigator's journal, effectively. Before there would have been, like, you know, professional and investigative journalists or anything along those lines. It is someone who has been trying to find this information, and, well, it didn't end too well for them. The main issue is that every time they came across a lead that might bring them to a member of the 7, as in, they checked in on the body of someone who had been brought before the church. This being in the case, it was not Invictus Holdings, but it was suddenly forgot their name.
Lanchair?
That's it. It's been brought to the Lanchair, so, you know, not an issue that it turned up in the church, and they were the government back then. Not surprising. They were brought before a church, the Lanchair, as someone who had been beheaded, and the head had carved in its forehead the symbols of a VII that they recognized as 7 immediately. The person who brought this body to the church was then the very next day found dead in the exact same position. And it looks like every single time this investigator came across a lead, his own recollection, although it's written in, you know, language you can't understand. I believe it would be... it might be Latin, actually. 600 years old Italy, probably still Latin. I think of it, I'm not good enough at it.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So, like, you know, it's written in Latin, which is particular, like, just... It's hard to infer a lot of feeling out of words written in Latin. They all seem to follow a very static form, but you can see how, like, letters and curves are shakier and tremblier, as though this is a more frantic noting, where this investigator realizes that by nature of doing this work, they have made themselves a target. The only issue is they can't just quit, because they're pretty sure they're going to get killed anyway. Their only, you know, recompense would be solving out who it is. However, the recollection ends just abruptly. There is no more tale to be told. You see, there is an issue with trying to learn anything about these 7, and that is that no one ever seems to survive the process. Of course, this means that you and your companions are likely already a target. My condolences should this result in your passing. I feel it's only appropriate to say such a thing. How do you react?
Hmm. Just narrow my eyes slightly and go back to a neutral expression. I shall see to it that it does not come easily. If it does, my prince.
Of course. We would ask as well that you find some way to keep your activities recorded. Such as it were, if anything unexpected should happen to you, it might be through the grace of some of these technologies that we can locate you. Or your corpse. And that might very well place another clue for another agent at another time. Or indeed rescue you should it be such a thing necessary. I understand that this might come across as insulting to make the assumptions that the worst will happen. I am just a realistic individual.
I understand, of course.
By no means should you cease these investigations, but from now on you should assume that every time spent outside the walls of this Elysium here, you are at risk.
Indeed, my prince. I shall be most careful.
He'll nod slowly. I'm sure there's some kind of high-minded technology method for tracking your comings and goings. I believe something of the sort is in place on some of our cleaners, and he'll just mention it as an afterthought. I leave the specificities to you and to whom you pass this information on to. But for now, we should consider information about the Seven themselves be suppressed. The more people who know, the more become immediate targets. And make no mistake, they may have started with underlings and with the Botticelli, but this is a challenge made specifically to me, a freshly woken prince in the advent of a scared-off Strix. I will not brook this insult.
I am a living instrument of your wrath, my prince.
He'll nod slowly. Very well, Sir Timothy, you are dismissed, and for what it is worth, I wish you the best of luck.
We'll bow, hand back the iPad if he hasn't taken it, and
Yep, he will accept it back.
depart.
Yep, you see him step behind his throne, and then, like, you know how someone is illuminated by, like, just backlight glow? That you can see as the illumination slides away, that it is probably being placed into something behind the throne as opposed to just, like, you know, hooked up onto a bag or placed on a table. You can actually, like, see light sliding away. And then he returns to the throne and picks up a book.
Well, that was distressing.
And there you go. It would appear your investigations into the Seven have made you a target.
Yep.
What do?
I think the first thing I need to do is pop down to the kitchens and just grab a couple of blood bags.
Sure.
You may note my current vitae.
Yeah, I believe it was basically riding rock bottom.
Yes. So, in it, turning into a shadow and then teleporting from building to building, while it's great for traveling quickly, it's not that good for, you know, actually having decent quantities of vitae to hand.
Sure. You can drink your way into... what, like... the potency times 4 in a sitting? Before you're like, alright, I'm good for now.
Okay, up to 4. Okay, next thing. Check in with Benedict.
Alright then. When you go to check in with Benedict, he is... he's probably in the Elysium proper, just like idly speaking with a bunch of kindred. They're all like a little bit older than him, but you know, he seems to be holding up his own in whatever kind of social sparring they've got him going through. As you walk up to him, he'll dismiss and, you know, make his dismissances and head on over. I'm back with some information. You might find this useful.
You know precisely how to please me.
He will smirk and reach.
Why?
Yeah, lewd. He reaches into his jacket and pulls out like a it's probably just a smart book or anything along those lines. Little mini laptop. And he'll like lead you over to a table in the Elysium and begin, you know, like opening it and going through stuff. And you can see that he has gotten his hands on a bunch of CCTV footage. And there is a document that appears to be made up of, like, essentially, if you could see one's mind palace being put to paper, you can see that it's just a bunch of ties and leads that he has attempted to strap the bits and pieces together for. Would you please roll for me 10d10?
10d10?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, and another d10, please. Alright, it's 3 successes. Okay then. Chef's vehicle. Let me pull up all my job details so I don't forget things. Okay. Now then. For Mazendi rolled 3 successes for everyone. Very true. He has located some CCTV footage. More importantly, he notes that there is a number of times that he's cross-referenced for people getting to the street from other CCTVs. And you realise he's not directing you to the car, but to a time period before and after that, where someone seen in CCTV has the typical blurriness that one would associate with a kindred walking down the street. I already checked, but this person here is not Chef. They're walking in their direction. Of course, the issue is, don't know who it is. Could be a 7 agent. And then he will continue to click through timestamps. Unfortunately, there's no CCTV footage that is of this street itself. We can see the entrances and the exits to the street, but it's some semi-closed area. Either that or there's been some vandalism. Regardless, I couldn't find a record for it. And he will tap forward in time. There is a brief period of time when there is a power outage. Now I want to repeat that the power cut that you knew of, the time of a power cut being discerned, happened at Esteban's, not at Chef's. It appears that this has happened more than once. You can see it by the way that the lights flicker here. The, you know, street lamps and all that such are on their own power, but it's a flicker all the way along. That's not usual at all. Like, you can see it. He'll scroll it back and freeze it for maybe a second at best. There is light from all the street lights and from the houses, and he clicks once, and then there is no light from any house or street light. then he clicks again, and then it's all back. Didn't think I'd spotted that the first time, or if I had it was some kind of mistake, but no, I'm pretty sure there was a power cut here, at least very briefly. And then he will scroll back again a couple of frames. Do you see what I saw here? Let's give me a wit's composure. Let's see if you can counter his CSI.
Sure.
Alright. He clicks back and forth a couple more times. And you realise what it is. There is a cat at the start of one of these frames, like the starting one before the power cut, and it is walking casually across the road. And then he clicks again, and it is quite far along. It has changed position. That's not unexpected if it's just crossing the road. However, he'll go back a few more frames to it first walking like into the view of this camera as it does so. It's moving at a very casual pace, like he does it frame by frame. It's just walking, essentially. And he clicks again. For that cat to have moved across the road that quickly, it would have had to move at an impossible speed. It could not have crossed that space in the second that there was no light. It's weird, it's an inconsistency, but I don't think it's any fault of the camera.
No, it seems deliberate.
And of course, I know you wanted me to look into the car thing, but couldn't find anything on it. Instead I started following this line. And he will close that clip and file, and you can see that he's got like this just big old CCTV log. And I grabbed a whole bunch of points of time when this same, flicker was supposed to happen from different cameras. And he'll just open one up at random. It appears to be quite a busy street. And he clicks once. And then he clicks again and it's dark. And he clicks again. You don't have to make a check this time. There are people who are walking like it's near the outside of a nightclub, and they're walking and then clicks across to the dark and clicks across again. And there are people who are confused because, the lights all flickered. At least the people who seem to notice. Some are still like, when the lights go out, some are still lit up by looking at phones and stuff. But they're stood way further away than you would have thought they had if they were just walking. They would have had to like broken into an immediate sprint from like one step to the other for it to have been just a second to pass. When you look up from this little smart book, you can see that Ben is visibly excited. It's either one of the hugest glitches that I've ever seen, because it appears to be on every closed circuit, when I had closed circuit television device here, or we're missing some seconds of time.
Can I roll intelligence occult here to get any ideas?
Go for it.
Any modifiers?
This is just you going through the Mind Palace. I'm going to say no modifiers. Okay. That should be fucking impossible for any vampire or wizard or any fucking crazy magic piece of shit you've ever heard of. That's time travel.
Well, I must confess, Benedict, that is not something I thought anyone could achieve.
Figured as much. I don't really know what to do with the information, but I do know it's interesting. We're literally missing time. Just he goes and brings up more clips, and you can see they're all very similar. There is a flicker, a brief power cut of a single second, but things have progressed in each of these cameras. Like, just an impossible number of seconds ahead. Maybe 1 second has been rendered into 3, but that's still a pretty extreme thing to happen. Like, 2 seconds is a big deal if it just didn't happen, or it got skipped, or it got squashed down into a second. Something happened. That is impossible. Please feel free to voice anything. I'm just updating your job sheet with this stuff so I don't forget it.
Okay. There is something else I can think of that might be behind this. Not time travel, but something I know some mage or someone like that can do. Do you remember what happened to my old laptop, Benedict?
Aha, yes, it got fried impossibly after reading things aloud.
Yes.
Also quite impossible, yes.
If some techno-mage can do that, do you think this might be within their abilities?
Well, honestly, I couldn't say. Let's put it this way. The scale, for one, is pretty big. It's every closed-circuit television camera here. All of them. Everything in the city of San Pasado.
This... all of them.
Yes, well, every closed circuit I could get my hands on. And he'll pause. Also, there's the fact that no one seems to have noticed. I could count that down to my incredible intelligence, but, I mean, it feels kind of unlikely I'd be the only person to figure out something as strange as missing seconds. No one's, he'll pause and... Is your watch off by any amount of time?
I'll give it a check.
It does not appear to be.
No.
So, if we're assuming that, time travel didn't happen, which I would like to assume as closely as possible, because I feel like my attachment to time is one of the few sane things that we as people can be permitted, then someone made a second into 3, at least after checking through all of these clips. I'm pretty sure it's about the realm of 3 seconds. And it happened for every piece of technology at the same time as a power cut. It's just strange. And for another reason, I can't for the life of me figure out what 3 seconds could change.
No. 3 seconds does not seem long enough to accomplish anything, but...
And he'll just sit and ponder. I've been muddling through this for a while now, and no one seems to have noticed anything strange. I'll take a deep breath and ponder. Oh, I should add there's another thing as well. You mentioned in your little write-up here that there was a power cut at Esteban's home, yes?
Yes.
That power cut is not congruent with this one. Timing is completely off. It would have had to have happened maybe an hour beforehand. If it happened that day. It could have been an hour beforehand the previous day, or the day before that. This is the record, though, of course, and he'll open up some more bits and pieces. You can see he's scribbled together a notepad document of some kind, and there is a report of outage. It looks like it lasted for maybe 30 minutes. It would have been a day before you saw it. About 11 p.m.
Okay.
Add that in as well. Of course, that could just be a coincidence, but it's just kind of strange. Might have been when it happened, or could have just literally been a power cut that happened in his place while he was sat there being a corpse.
It seems unlikely to be so unrelated as that.
I don't know, sometimes I feel like fate itself likes to throw people a red herring.
Perhaps.
Alright, first of all, I'm just going to take this. Reveals an unknown vampire walking into chef's home. A 1 second power cut, in which 3 seconds occur all at once. This appears to be a phenomena. Pasado wide. I don't think there are any details I'm missing out of that. I've added a new section to the bottom of side job 2, and also updated the Esteban section with the power cuts time.
Thank you.
Now then, if you excuse me for a moment, I need to fetch a drink. Doing the prince's voice has knackered my voice out just a little bit.
Yeah, fair enough.
I
Just
assume you mean
sounds
water.
odd.
I assume you mean a drink of water.
And she's already gone, so...
And back, I grabbed a throat sweet. And some coffee.
Okay.
Nom nom nom. Alright.
Anomalies.
Yeah, nom anomalies. In the CCTV time zone. Hey DCL, are you around?
Yes, I am.
So, where do you wake up and what is your morning ritual?
I assume... was I able to make it back to my apartment? I assume that's where I went
Yes.
back. Alright. Wake up, roll out of bed, and get dressed pretty much. Since I am now a vampire, I have no need to brush my teeth or take a shower. Actually,
Yay.
I take that back. Do you still need to take a shower?
I mean, your body doesn't naturally sweat, but I mean, you should take a shower to, like, clean muck off yourself. Your body will never, like, get gross and stinky. But, like, getting covered in dirt will still make you gross.
Since I'm going to assume I took a shower the second I got back from crawling around in the sewers and I got shit to do, I'll just continue on. But yeah,
Yep.
suit on and go out the door. Invictus business ready. Invictus business time. So, remind me, last thing we left off, we found Chef's place. We went down to the sewers, talked to the vampires. What was the last hint we got of where to go?
The last place to go. You visited all the locations. Well, amongst all of you, Gideon went to Taryn's place, Tarina's.
Sororia went everywhere except for what did you say?
The Elder Tarina's asylum. Gideon went there himself and has uncovered some information, but we are remless currently. He stayed the night at the asylum. He was so lovingly gifted one of their comfortable hotel rooms.
Honestly, there's nearly nothing much more for me to do than probably go report into the asylum in
Elysium. When I say asylum, I mean Gideon stayed at an actual mental institute, an asylum.
I mean Elysium.
The Elysium is the place where all the vampires is at.
Yes. Because basically all the leads are already followed up on,
Yeah.
and I at least assume I will get nothing going back to the scenes after having them combed over by investigators. Yeah.
Yeah, going back to the scene of the crime would be considerably moot by this point. The cleaners would have let you know if they discovered anything else while they were, cleaning up after the dead Esteban and the missing Kindred.
I have no reason to do anything other than wait for orders then. Go to Elysium.
Alrighty. Do you do any feeding, or are you good as you are?
I'm pretty good on Vitae.
Alrighty. Yeah, you arrive. It's probably been not long after Timothy has learned of the matters of the CCTV when you actually get there.
Is that with the time travel
Yeah.
stuff?
Yeah, this will probably be not long after he's just finished having a talk with Ben, who has now gone back to playing socialite, although it's obvious that he's actually just giddy to go do more learning or exploration into this whole strange matter that has occurred.
Well, I've been told nothing, so I know nothing.
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
We'll see if it stays that way. So I'll at least approach Timothy.
Darian.
I guess good night's the appropriate reading. What do you have for me today?
Walk with me.
All right. I will walk in step with Timothy.
I'm going to lead him somewhere relatively isolated.
That way you can murder him and no one will be any the wiser.
Yeah, you have an actual room that is yours in the Elysium. It'd probably work.
Yeah, I'll go there. So, Darian, good news, bad news, worse news, where would you like to start?
I'm a pessimist. Hit me with the worst.
Everyone who has ever investigated the group we are looking into has died horrible, lonely deaths.
Well, that's kind of where I was headed in the first place, so really not much of a step up for me.
This goes back at least 2,000 years. As long as the record is.
Oh, that is considerably worse. I admit I'm trained to fight vampires, but even I'm not going to tackle an elder, and old things tend to be really strong.
It is unlikely to be the same group. They have... many of their agents have... well, it is unlikely to be the same people forming the group still. Many of their agents have been slain before, but...
So we're just talking relatively competent vampire hunters, huh?
Perhaps. Perhaps. And when you say relatively competent, I mean that when things start going wrong involving this group, cities are wiped out.
This escalated really quickly.
Yes, it did. Sit down.
Right, and I'll take a seat. So, now that we've gotten the worst out the way, let's see how the bad news is an upgrade.
They have literally impossible powers, or powers of such magnitude that they are effectively impossible.
Wait, how is not the worst news?
Well, they are what I would normally consider to be literally impossible. I have myself engaged in things previously considered literally impossible. So, it's entirely plausible that our realm of knowledge is simply insufficient.
If I stab them, will they die?
I think so, assuming they let you stab them.
Let's keep optimistic in that. So, possible powers. Any other part of the worst news in that?
Given who trained you, Darian, I suppose I can actually tell you what the powers are. There are two options, the first of which is that they broke into every single closed-circuit television camera in the city and scrubbed 2 seconds out of it.
Right. Rather high feat, but I suppose if we're dealing with mages, I kind of look hopefully for you to tell me we're not.
Yes, that's what Benedict and I hope happened. It's incredibly unlikely, but that's in the realm of possibility. Except for the fact they did it with only Benedict noticing, with no mass cries of panic, no recorded security breaches, nothing of that sort.
Any chance this is just like some kind of weird government-funded monster hunting agency?
Possibly. Possibly. Of course, the alternative, Darian, is that those 2 seconds that are missing, those were magicked, so that 1 turned into 3. So there are 2 loose seconds.
Oh shit. Are we getting into time bullshit?
We're getting into time bullshit. Isn't it
I-
exhilarating?
Like, I'm not going to say all this out loud, but I have seen too many visual novels where things go horribly wrong with time. Alright, so we're dealing with time now. I wanted to say not the worst, but yeah, that's pretty bad. Okay, good news. Let's move on to that now.
Alright. Benedict was actually able to find some information. I recovered a couple of things from Cotton Eye. We haven't actually gotten into those yet, but there may be something. It certainly does seem to link Cotton Eye with Esteban and Chef, given that a matched revolver was found, and Cotton Eye's glove box fit the key that was at Chef's. It's webs
Right.
within webs, Darian.
Permission to speak freely?
Go ahead.
I'm glad I set my expectations low for that good news.
Well, the good news is that we have some way of fighting back. Oh, also, I didn't tell you the other part of the bad news. They almost certainly know we're looking into them and are going to try to kill us now.
Well, I mean, I just assumed that part.
Good lad.
Assuming that they're humans that can actually bleed, that might be the best thing for at least me.
Yes, perhaps.
I'm going to admit,
Now,
after months of training with Hedra, even the idea of fighting mages is not that horrifying.
if it is mages, then we'll have to be quick, trust to instinct, and not have any plan. If we have a plan, they'll have a plan, and then it'll get fucked.
My only plan is to stab.
I approve of that. Now, I haven't had a chance to change yet, so please call Rose. Tell her, well,
Tell her
don't
the bad
panic
news
her.
first.
Last time we panicked her, she ran away to the underworld. I I don't know where she'd go now since we managed to find her there.
Oh, right. Guess I should save the news about somebody going after her life maybe till she gets here. Seems kind of like a dick move, though.
To be fair, Rose was specifically told to hide.
Well, here's my question. So, we know we have people coming after us, and we know that these guys are bad news involving the, at least for the Elysium. So, are we going to get any protection for this? Seems like something that the elders shouldn't be ignoring. Or am I not operating under the assumption that we're disposable pawns?
Yes, I think that's probably a fair assumption.
You were, however, told to go find someone who can pick up some tracking equipment for you, so they actually can keep an eye on you.
Oh, right.
I think
Vampires.
it's more accurate to say we're a little bit of bait.
Well,
Accurate to say you're a little bit Genghis Khan.
well, I can't say I didn't expect this to happen sooner or later. Right, so we're bait for them, so our protection won't be overt. I at least should have some confidence defending myself, and I think that goes the same for you, but what about the others? No offense, but they don't really strike me as the badass fighty type.
Sir Gideon is himself a knight. I'm sure he has some tricks up his sleeve. Claire and Rose, you may be right about.
Right, at least for now, I won't waste any time and call them to come over. The sooner the better. We don't know when they're going to strike, do we?
It is exceedingly unlikely they will attempt to assault us within the Elysium.
Unless they could turn invisible. Then they might just try to assassinate us all quiet-like.
Darian, if you turn out the lights, I can see people that are invisible.
Holy shit, really?
Yes.
Wow, I'm glad I never tried anything on you. You did not hear me say that out loud.
Good thing I have this flashlight. Aha! We're never in
No.
the
Go and make your calls. I really need to get a new pair of trousers.
Smash cut. So, Rose, I'm gonna need you not to run away when I tell you this.
Why would I run away?
Because there might be somebody trying to kill you.
Is it horrible owl monsters who already know where I live?
What? No. We actually think it's a group of humans with abilities we don't really know. Might be mages, we're not sure yet. The point is that even though they're humans, they kind of have a record of killing anybody who's involved in investigating them. So let's not risk that track record on you not
last
being able to
time-
detect this.
Last time we went after humans who had mystical powers on their side that were trying to kill us, I ended up sleeping with one, and now she's my ghoul.
I kind of just I don't know how I'm supposed to respond to that.
There's no way to respond. I'm just bragging.
Either way,
There is an
I'm gonna-
amused giggle, probably like vaguely off of the distance. And don't forget her hot girlfriend.
Oh yeah,
Either
and
way-
her girlfriend.
Either way, I think it's best if you take you and yours over to the Elysium for protection. We don't know when they're going to strike or how, so it's better that you get over here the sooner rather than later. And to be careful, of course.
So they can track me back to where I live?
I mean, they already know we're looking into them, and if these guys are as good as their record holds, they probably already know where you are. I mean, it is the age of the internet.
You don't even know where I am. The Elysium doesn't even know where I am. It's kind of the point of living off the grid.
And do you want to take a bet that you're safer there than coming over here? Rose.
Well, see. Now I'm puzzling it out logistically. If they already know where you guys are, if they know where Elysium is, they can watch it and then track us back to wherever we go.
Yes, but they also could have magic and just be able to track you through some strange bullshit anyways. And
It
then living off
doesn't
the grid is
matter.
just a detriment. Well, all I'm saying is that we're dealing with enemies who we don't fully understand and who have been able to assassinate every target that's come to investigate them. I don't think you'll be even the first paranoid vampire who's tried to sneak away alone. So there's probably strength in numbers rather than being isolated right now.
Hmm. All right, I need to come talk with Claire anyway. I'm sure. I forget. Does Elysium allow just normal humans?
As food. And ghouls.
Well, to be honest, I don't know. I'll kind of go off and ask Timothy, like, hey, Timothy, does Elysium allow normal humans inside?
Not normally, although in some cases an exception might be made. Why?
Because we're talking about Rose, and she's got a lot of girlfriends.
Hasn't she ghouled them?
Uh, Good point. Haven't you Googled them? I'll ask back into the phone.
Only the one.
Apparently only the one.
Tell her
Don't-
that that's incredibly cruel. She shouldn't let one girlfriend get older than the other.
Timothy says you should stop playing favorites.
But I ghouled her to help her recover. She was injured, from a werewolf attack.
Yeah, but what happens when her boobs start to sag? Gonna be wishing you Googled her then.
I may as well turn them into fucking vampires now, shouldn't I?
I don't know. Maybe? Look, Rose, if you're gonna come, you're gonna come. I really hope you do come, because I'm worried about your prospects out there alone.
Well, if you just left me alone, I would come, but no, here we are.
Yeah. But I kinda
Good
thought
smash
it'd be more
cut. There's
fair-
just panties flying up to, from one side of the screen to the other.
Oh, we're in
Yeah,
a
but I
video
kind of thought
chat.
I kind of thought it'd be more fair if you at least knew, rather than trying to wait for you to risk yourself to get over here.
All right, I'll think about it. Do we have any leads on where to go? Because I have other things I need to look into too.
Rose, please put your booty calls on hold long enough to save your own life.
Not a booty call.
I don't believe you.
Well, tough.
I'm squinting hard at the phone.
Squint as hard as you want. No, I am.
I can sense your booty calls. Either way,
That was a good fucking line, Lily.
Do I get a willpower for
for a cocky pun about your own missing vision?
I have the jester mask.
Oh, of course, it's your mask, is it?
Yeah.
I did not know that you were an anime protagonist.
Regain willpower when making funny jokes about
Stressful situations. You know what? What I will I will actually give you something as a reward for your good line. You can have a free dice on your next test.
Okay.
alright, Rose, look, I told you about the danger and what I hope you do. Whatever you do now is up to you.
What are you, my mother?
I... No? Look, I just don't want you to die, okay? I like you. Just stay alive.
Okay, you're pushing it a little hard here, buddy.
I'll talk to you later. We'll hang up then, and I'll turn back to Timothy and say, "I told her to come. It's anybody's guess if she actually does."
Yes, I think I can guess how her side of that went.
Don't really like her chances out alone, but she's the master thief.
Hmm. Well, if anyone knows how to hide, it is her, but...
Alright. Well, I'll at least get Rose on the phone. She should be more sensible and come down to the Invictus. The Elysium.
Turns out Darian just going senile. Just calls Rose right back.
And don't worry, DCL, I'm bringing your reading glasses. Well, thank you!
I meant Claire, damn it. Get my names mixed up. I was thinking of the red hair.
I don't know. I mean, Rose doesn't have red hair. Anyway. Yeah,
No, I was thinking of Claire's red hair.
Yeah, if you intend to call Claire and invite her to come over, she will let you know that she is looking into matters of semi-arcane importance related to this matter, and she'll be over soon, although on hearing then that she might be rendered into bait, we'll say that she's probably going to hang out and stay in the Elysium and just be useful as a contact for you all. Maybe keep an eye on you for this whole tracking weirdness. Since she could call an axe to come and save the day for you.
And then, of course, I'll call Grandpa Remy. Get Gideon on over here.
You call Gideon, and your phone goes to answer machine. Probably sounds along the lines of, damn it, I thought this, how does this, oh, you are speaking to Gideon, and then it just closes, and then beep.
I'll look back to Timothy and go, it's a coin flip of whether Gideon's in trouble or just can't answer his phone.
Well, he was able to text me, so we'll give it a little while. Perhaps he will be able to work out how to respond.
He's already
Perhaps his
figured out
player
texting.
is not here at the moment.
He's already figured out texting. I'm actually proud of him.
Very formal, though, and took him a while.
Yeah, nobody's perfect. Well, that leaves just us here, at least in the Invictus. So how exactly are we going to play decoy?
Well, for now, are you any good with computers?
I mean, decent. I'm no hacker, but I can use one.
Alright, that's the sort of thing I was hoping you would actually be.
Look, I can find you pornography from anywhere, but that's basically it.
Look, I can find you some dang shit, man, but limits go there.
You want some dank memes? I know they've been outlawed, but find you some dank memes.
I literally only have a dot in computer.
I can show you the way.
No.
No.
That meme has been forever.
You lose that free dice you had.
That meme. You don't even speak of that meme because then the mages just come down and smite you.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you lost the dice. It's a shame, isn't it? You know what, my lovely dears? Since this next bit would actually be quite REM dependent, and believe it or not, we've actually managed to fuck away an entire 3 hours, I believe we're going to be calling this session to a close.
Okay.
I mean, half of that was like you guys just.
Yeah, to be fair, it was because I thought he would have appeared
Mechanical
like
bullshit.
an hour ago, but and I get caught up talking bullshit before. It's not the same as Urban Arcana's talking bullshit, where it's you guys wax lyrical about guns. It happens. I'm not wrong. It happens with alarming frequency. Remember what happened in that last Urban Arcana session? Oh yeah, everyone got high as fuck on drugs and that's it. And then talked about guns.
Talked about guns or talked about cunts?
Guns. But regardless then, thank you guys for playing. Well, everyone gets their 2 end of session beats.
Dumb beats.
I don't believe anyone's aspirations have developed any further. Let's have a quick look here.
The map of bottom beats.
Yeah.
Boots with the fur.
Hey, Mez.
Yo.
You got some one-on-one time with the prince. Let me have a quick look at your character sheet. You gained a willpower for it. Because it's a big deal to be in a room alone with the prince.
With the prince.
I can show you the way.
You lose an extra dice when you do your next test.
I had to stop myself from using the meme.
Thank you. Nothing happens for now, but I'm gonna remember that as a thing that occurred.
I thank you for taking that bullet for me, third.
There you go. But yes, so yeah, you got your free willpower for now, but something else might come of that later. I'm not yet 100% on it.
apologize for nothing.
I know you do. That's why I just take things away from you. It's like the stub your toe injury when you make terrible jokes. It just deals a hit point damage. In this case, it just steal wounds. I steal dice. You could meme yourself into uselessness, much like people in real life can meme themselves into uselessness.
Excuse me, I take issue with the assumption that people need memes to be completely useless.
This punishment is not the way.
Alright, 2 dice are off your next test. I'm gonna write it down on here on your tokens thing. I just noticed as well that your token has the GM notes Team Instinct Hipster. -2 dice for memes. Save changes.
Yeah, Rose was Team Instinct.
Yep.
'Cause I'm Team Instinct.
Yep. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed yourselves regardless. It sort of got you back to reacquainted with this mystery and its many entangled webberies. Is there anything you would like to say or do before we call it a close officially?
No, I don't think so.
Nope.
No.
Alright then. Well, in which case, thank you guys for playing. Hope you had fun.
Thank you for running it, Emma.
My pleasure. And if you're watching in the VOD or you're watching in the stream, please do have yourselves a lovely motherfucking good time, and do take care.
Beep boop.
Bye, stream. Bye, YouTube.
Bye.